Well, howdy everybody out there in YouTube land. This is amateur artist Mark D. Chandler once again from Manland, and we of course are talking about the Lodge Chimney Charcoal Starter. This is the A5-1 model. It looked like it was stainless steel at first, but it's not. It's actually galvanized steel. It's supposed to help it keep it from rusting and stuff. But I haven't seen any videos on this thing out there in the web, on YouTube or even on the web, except the one that Lodge themselves put out there. And of course it says Lodge there, Lodge cast iron. This is in no way is this cast iron. I don't even think that piece of metal in the center there that holds the charcoal is even cast iron. No, I don't think it is. But what I wanted to sit there and show you here is my opinion about it, first time looking at it, first impression should I say. We've been needing another chimney charcoal starter, and they got one. But these puppies are expensive. In one website, out of the top 9, I believe, this was listed as number 5. But the cost of these things vary. If you do any research like I did, if you go to the Lodge website itself, it's probably, I think it's around $29 somewhere in there. If you get some on Amazon, they're closer to $39. And then I saw on a Walmart site, it was close to 50 bucks. But this right here, I gotta show you this right quick. If you see that little tag right there, yeah, Wee Wee and her daughter got it from Dirt Cheap. Now I'm wondering why it's at Dirt Cheap. You don't see a lot of these on video as far as YouTube goes, and it retailed, they said, like 16 bucks. Is that what it said? Yeah, 16 bucks. No, yeah, $16.99. Excuse me. They had like a 70% off on that price, so they got this for around $6 or $7. Is how this ended up in my hands. Yeah, I'm all about being cheap, but I want functionality too. So this ought to give me a few more burnings of charcoal. Lasts a little bit longer than that version I bought from Walmart, because that thing was a joke. I'm just hoping this ain't either. Like I say, this is a fairly strong metal, and of course you can whop it together if you want to, if you really want to squeeze this thing. But it's designed to light your charcoal for your grill. Got a nice little heat shield on it. Got all kind of warning labels on there, and I want to show you one thing here. There's the UPC code with the good information on there if you want to read that. But here's a warning label, and on here, yep, they're sitting there saying this product can expose you to chemicals including chromium, which is a hexavalent compound, if I'm reading that right or pronouncing it right, which is known in the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. For information, you know, go to that emergency website if you want to read up on it. Yeah, that's my thing. You got a charcoal chimney starter and they're using galvanized metal, which to me seems kind of uh-oh-ish, because you're not really supposed to be burning galvanized metal. Puts out them dangerous fumes. But anyway, it is what it is. So I'm going to sit there and take this logo off. It's only held on for like 4 pieces of tape. And we're fixing to give this thing here a firing up and see how long she's going to last. Hopefully through the very first burning. That's what we hope. Got the logo off, and of course I left the sticky tape residue on there, some 4 spots, but you know, it's on the outside. I don't care about the prettiness and aestheticness of it. But if this thing for some reason happens to fail over the period of use of lighting my charcoal, I'm not worried about it, because this piece right here, that piece of metal that's in there to help hold the charcoal up, it looks like it's some kind of metal that's been powder coated or something. If that puppy holds up, it's only held in with some cutouts that's squeezing to hold it in there, and man, that makes a nice daggum gun sight, don't it? Yeah. But that right there would be useful in itself. You know, put it on top of some of your burners out there that your pots don't quite fit because the pot stand is built into the stove, ain't worth a darn. It don't accept all different size pots. Yeah, that will come in handy. But until then, it's going to stay inside this thing till this thing right here decides to give up the ghost, if it does any at all. Wooden handle. Hopefully that'll keep your hand from getting too daggum hot, but from my experience, these things get hot, and no matter how you look at it, it's just gonna get hot. That's just common sense. So let's get this thing fired up, and what better way to do it? Let's do a little bushcraft style. What we have here is some charred material, and if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, this is actually some Mississippi bamboo that has been scraped off a pole and then charred. I think this is a piece of jute twine or something like that that was wrapped up, and this is actually a piece of bamboo here that's been charred. And I'm going to try to light this flint and steel style, and I'm hoping I can see this thing without making too much of a mess here. Mighty windy, and I ain't going to be able to see the sparks too good. I can see them here, but I can't see what's going in there. There we go. Right there on the edge, right in that area. See how that looks on camera. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm gonna zoom back out. I zoom in every time I say I'm zooming out. Now I'm not gonna save this material here. I'm gonna actually put it out in this. Boy, I'm making a mess. I've got some actual squirrel stuff here. This right here is shredded cedar. That a squirrel put together, made a squirrel nest. So he did all the daggum hard work. Yeah, I'm using all that material up because it's about a year or so old. There we go. Wow, that's heating up. Yeah, this is not actually fat wood, but this is a highly resinous piece of pine. Well, the wind is not working with me here. It ain't. Aha. I'm going to kind of quickly get this chimney charcoal starter on top of it. That's why it has small pieces. Make sure that thing sits on there properly. Now I've got myself a windscreen. Hey, Mr. Truck Driver, hauling some heavy equipment. He had to honk at me. Well, she is a sucking in air. That's for dang sure. I know you're supposed to use like 2 pieces of newspaper and maybe a couple of matches or something. And I don't have no newspaper out here. We don't read the newspaper. We watch the news on television and the internet like everybody else does. Everything's going electronic nowadays. But hey, it's a lot more fun started this way. That flame has definitely done its thing with that daggum fat wood, or that pine, resinous pine wood. Man, she is taking off. Ooh, yeah. So with the wind blowing like this, I don't think I'm gonna have no problems of that there charcoal catching up. What do y'all think? Yes, sirree, and golly gee, about what I thought. That galvanization there is starting to burn off that there pipe, and they say that stuff is not too good to be breathing in. But heck, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you're supposed to use this thing as a chimney charcoal starter. That's what it's designed for. So I'm staying this way of the wind. It's kind of going that way. I think once this thing heats up pretty decently, it might actually get a lot safer to use. But who am I? I'm not one of them allergists, metallurgists, and you know, I ain't one of them folks right there, because it seems like the experts know more than I know, and I'm just an amateur. We're gonna let it burn on and do its thing. after roughly almost 3 to 5 minutes, we went from a black smoke to a white smoke, and that's a good thing. That means that pine down there has more or less burned it out. Let's see, we still got some good coals down in there. Ah, resinous pine, good stuff, good stuff. And hopefully it caught that charcoal up, and hey, I do see in that little hole right there that the charcoal is actually lit on the inside. And right in here, get my finger back, I don't want to touch that thing hot. Right in there, that's where the charcoal from there on up is resting, and we definitely got some coals up in there. I like these little slots. The one thing, they help you measure your charcoal once you get used to the darn thing, and you can actually see how far up it's actually burning. It's kind of like a little window, a little sight window there, and they're all the way around this thing. Now, I'm not going to disturb this thing. I'm going to let it just sit like it is. Got some good wind blowing, so that's helping tremendously. They say that about 2 sheets of newspaper, which I ain't got, y'all seen that, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for these coals to get ready, somewhere in there. But that's up to you. Everybody knows how to use a chimney charcoal starter, I assume. We just trying this one here out. Did I mention I'm using Kingsford charcoal? Yeah, that's pretty daggum important. I should have told y'all that. Yeah, stay away from the cheap stuff if you can. I mean, you're probably like me. Kingsford ain't exactly super cheap, but sometimes they do have it on sale. In my opinion right now, so far, 54 years old, this seems to be the best. It ain't been long at all. If it has been 10 minutes, man, that's the fastest 10 minutes yet. I can see the coals in that hole right there. I call that the first window, because like I say, remember your charcoal's right here. Them 2 little notches, there's 3 or 4 of them on there that's actually holding that plate in there, that wire grid thing. Yeah, and there's your first window, and it's definitely, it's up to that point. It's up to the second one, and right now I'm looking at what appears to be some lighting up charcoal there. Let's take a look at over here at the top. Oh yeah, oh, we can see down through. Let me zoom in. I ain't getting the camera too close, you know what I mean. We see some whites starting to happen there on the charcoal. Not too much right now, but it ain't been that long. That Kingsford charcoal, man, it knows what it's talking about. Time wise, they were just about right. Been about 15 minutes, and the coals are definitely getting heated on the very top. Now I turned the handle around. Let me zoom back out. I turned the handle around so the heat and everything would be radiating toward the handle. And this here setup, oh, that's just barely warm. But that thing does an excellent job. Them wooden handles, yes sirree. Now I'm going to sit there. This thing right here, I don't know if I can show that. If I take some spit on it, yeah, probably can't hear it from the. Hold on, I'll do it this way. If I can hold on to it, I'll take me a piece of ice. Let's see. That's on the handle. That dude, all the way. Woo! That is warm. And right over here toward the handle, it cools down now. It's melting the ice, but it's cooling down right there. But yes sirree, that puppy is hot. Now I'm gonna dump this piece of ice out of my drink there. But the wood, the way it's made, is the wood actually surrounds that piece of metal. And I'm thinking it's kind of like rivets they got in there. There's one there and one there. They're both recessed. Same thing on the opposite side there. And that wood surrounds that. So when you go to grab it, your hand does not have any danger of coming in contact with that metal unless your finger goes up here or maybe down here. But there's a little bit of water there on the bottom, and it's not actually too bad. There we go. She's frying toward that end. But that right there is comfortable to hold. Now I don't know about it's no summer day, but right now it's not really super cool out here either. I'm still in shorts and a short sleeve, and I'm enjoying it. But and now the only negative thing I can see right now, being this was at dirt cheap, let me zoom in. See that rivet there? that rivet doesn't look like it's really flared out too good. And this thing has 3 rivets. Rivets, not rivet like a frog, but a rivet. You got one there, which helps to hold this thing together and the handle. You got one down here at the bottom of the handle. And you got one at the very bottom of the thing itself. So if those happen to fail, which is really what happened to the Walmart version I had of this thing, I don't remember the name brand of it, but the handle more or less just popped off. But this in here is real easy to fix. You just drill a hole through there and put you a bolt, a washer, maybe a couple of lock washers, and that'll fix that right there. But that heat shield right there, oh man, it's still nice and shiny, almost like stainless steel. But the base of it, yeah, you can see with that galvanization and the heating of the pipe has really done its number. And I think we're about ready to pour this into the junkyard bushcraft grill, because I got some cooking to do. That's the plan anyway. Now here comes the true test, especially on the first time use. Make sure this handle don't pop off. So I'm going to turn it around. I say that handle is barely warm. Pick it up so y'all can see it. I'm going to give it a little shake. Them embers fall through that bottom grate that's in there pretty nicely. And of course you pour it away from you. This is not one of those bottom injection things. We got to pour it out the top into our receptacle. And there's a little bit of that there. That squirrel's nest. Instead of it being a bird's nest, this was a squirrel's nest I used to blow it to flame. We've got a nice little, hey, some of the coals actually, let me get the camera there. Oh man, some of them actually burnt through and came out the other side, the bottom side. Let me flip my screen so y'all can see that. Yes, some of them charcoals actually came out toward the bottom. They were small enough to fall through that, and there's a good view of the inside of the first use. They actually fell through. Hey, no big deal, no big deal. But I say we got a pretty good little bed of charcoal there, and that dude is radiating some kind of heat. So, well, there you have it. I want to thank y'all for coming by and taking a look at this here product review. I say a review, it's actually a first impressions of, still hot too, the Lodge charcoal chimney charcoal starter. And I can't say anything real bad about it yet, except the cost that I researched. But it's held up pretty daggum good so far. And once again, I appreciate y'all coming by the channel here. Until next time, this is Amateur Artist Mark D. Chandler, once again from Man Land. Wishing you and y'all a very happy YouTube experience out there. See you around the next video.